Okay, I need to talk about this because I am still not over it. Valentine is sitting on a pile of secrets so massive that at this point the man probably needs his own vault, his own lock, and maybe a guard dog with emotional damage. And now we are being told he knows way more about Cullum than anyone else does? Oh, that is not just interesting. That is dangerous. That is the kind of information that changes the whole board. Because Valentine does not collect secrets for decoration. Valentine keeps secrets the way other people keep oxygen. He only brings them out when the room is on fire, when somebody is about to die, or when he wants to crush somebody with the truth at exactly the worst possible moment. And honestly, I think that is where we are headed right now. Because if Valentine really knows what Cullum is hiding, then maybe the time for quiet observation is over. Maybe it is time for him to walk straight up to Cullum and say, you are going to sit down, you are going to listen, and you are going to make a choice before I make one for you. And yes, I said it like that because this is the energy Valentine is giving me right now. Not passive, not polite, not waiting around for somebody else to move first. No, this feels like a man who is done playing defense. And I love that. I really do. But I also hate it because every time Valentine gets that intense, things explode. That is just the truth. And can we talk about why this is such a mess in the first place? Because Brennan is out cold and suddenly Nina wants to pin everything on Valentine. Excuse me? Oh, that is rich. That is deliciously shameless. Nina can take one look at a disaster and somehow find a way to place the blame on somebody else. And this time she is apparently thinking, why not Valentine? Of course. Why not make the guy who already has enough enemies carry the whole mountain too? But here is where I start getting mad. Valentine is not stupid. Valentine knows exactly what Nina is doing. He knows she is not just panicking. She is calculating. She is trying to use Brennan's condition to turn the heat on Valentine because in her mind, if Valentine takes the fall, Nina gets to breathe easier. Maybe even walk away clean. Maybe even play innocent. And I am sorry, but no, not this time. Valentine understands something that Nina clearly keeps forgetting. That syringe was not meant for Brennan. It was meant for Valentine. That is the part that makes this so much worse. The paralysis drug was aimed at Valentine, but the shot hit Brennan instead. So now Nina can act shocked all she wants. But the intent is there. The target was there. The betrayal was there. The whole thing reeks of someone trying to set Valentine up and then pretend it was all an accident. And honestly, I cannot even fully blame Valentine if he is done protecting Nina. At some point, enough is enough. There is a difference between covering for someone because you care and covering for someone because you are enabling them to keep torching the whole damn town. Valentine has spent so much time holding things together, hiding things, smoothing over the mess, swallowing the truth until it almost choked him. But this feels like the moment where the last thread snapped. And what really gets me is that Valentine knows Nina is dangerous because she knows where he is. That detail alone is enough to make my stomach twist. Because once Nina knows where Valentine is, he is not just a man with a target on his back. He is a man standing in front of a loaded weapon with a smile on the other side of it. She could hand him over. She could frame him. She could use his location to get him arrested. And I would not put it past her. Not even for a second. In fact, I think Valentine suspects something even bigger. I think he may be wondering whether Nina is not just working against him, but working with Cullum. And that changes everything. Because suddenly this is not just about a bad choice or a messy breakup or some half-buried old grudge. No, this starts to feel like a coordinated move. A trap. a setup. Valentine could be looking at the possibility that Nina and Cullum are tangled together in this thing, trying to drag him straight into prison. And if that is true, then Valentine has every reason to stop waiting and start striking first, which is exactly why I think he goes after Cullum. And oh, if that happens, I need everybody to understand just how big that would be. Because Valentine going after Cullum is not random. That is not a small confrontation. That is a full-scale reckoning. Valentine does not approach people by accident. He approaches them when he already knows more than they think he knows. So picture this with me for a second. Valentine tracks Cullum down. Maybe with that cold, controlled look that says he has already made peace with whatever happens next. Maybe he reaches for the mask. Maybe he does not even bother talking first. He just goes straight for the truth. And when he rips that mask off, what does he see? Peter. Stop right there, because that is not just a twist. That is a volcanic eruption in the middle of the storyline. Peter being alive after all this time, after everything, my jaw would be on the floor. Because the second that face is revealed, every single conversation around Cullum becomes a whole new nightmare. It means the disguise was never just a disguise. It means the lies go deeper. It means somebody has been sitting under everybody's nose like a ghost with a pulse. And the most twisted part is that Valentine might not even be shocked for the same reason we are. He may already know, or at least suspect, which makes this even darker. Because if Valentine has known Peter was alive for a while and helped cover it up, then wow. That is a morally complicated mess wrapped in a velvet glove and tied with a knife. And honestly, that feels exactly like the kind of thing Valentine would do. Because let us not pretend Valentine is some innocent little bystander. He is not. He has history. He has scars. He has lines he crosses when he thinks the alternative is worse. And if he once saw Peter as a son, but I absolutely believe he could have helped hide him. Not because it was clean, not because it was right, but because Valentine has always had that ruthless softness to him, the kind that makes him dangerous and sympathetic at the same time, the kind that keeps me watching even when I want to scream at the screen. And if Peter really is alive, then Valentine's next move becomes brutally clear. He is not going to beg. He is not going to ask nicely. He is going to threaten. Yes, I said threaten, because at this point, what else is left? Valentine could force Peter to choose a side, and not in some vague emotional, please think about what is right way. No. I mean the full pressure cooker version, the one where Valentine makes it clear that Peter does what he is told, or everything falls apart. And if Nina shows up asking for help, Valentine could order Peter to turn on her immediately. No hesitation. No sympathy. No room for games. And honestly, that is the part I am living for and dreading at the same time. Because Peter and Nina in the same orbit is already a disaster. Peter being told to attack Nina if she reaches out to him, that is gasoline. That is a lit match. That is the kind of thing that can turn one tense conversation into a full-on war. And with Valentine holding the leash, oh, that is power. That is leverage. That is Valentine finally using the secrets he has kept locked away for years like a loaded weapon. But the pressure does not stop there, because Valentine also wants Peter to free Maxie. And now we are in the deep end, people. Maxie being held captive, that alone is awful. That alone is enough to make me furious. But the idea that Peter may be the one behind it, that is next level grotesque. Because Peter always brings this rotten suffocating energy into every storyline he touches. If Maxie is trapped because of him, then he is not just playing a game. He is building a cage around somebody else's life and pretending it is strategy. And freeing Maxie is not just about rescue. It is about exposure. Because once Maxie is out, the fake Nathan problem starts shaking apart. And let us be clear, the fake Nathan situation is wild. The real Nathan is dead, gone. And the man walking around now is Cassius, wearing that identity like a stolen coat. That is not a normal secret. That is a bomb with a timer on it. So if Maxie gets free, suddenly Cassius has a whole lot more to explain, and the mask starts slipping in every direction. And that is why Valentine forcing Peter to release Maxie makes so much sense. Because he is not just saving one woman, he is pressuring an entire web of lies. He is forcing the fake Nathan issue into the light. He is saying, you want to survive? Then start handing over truths before I hand over your whole world. That is the energy here. That is the storm. And I have to be honest with you, I am torn. Part of me wants to cheer Valentine on because finally somebody is acting like they understand how rotten all this has become. Finally, somebody is not pretending that all of these people are just misunderstood. No. Some of them are dangerous. Some of them are liars. Some of them are actively trying to bury the truth under 100 layers of fear and manipulation. So yes, Valentine stepping forward with force, I get it. I do. But another part of me is like, Valentine, my man, are you sure this is the hill you want to die on? Because once he starts moving like this, there is no going back. If he confronts Peter, exposes the mask, threatens Nina, pushes Maxie's release, and starts pulling on every loose thread in this nightmare, then the whole thing could detonate in his face. And I would not even be shocked if that is exactly what happens. Because this is soap opera territory. Nobody gets to win clean. Nobody gets to make a bold move without paying for it later. That is the deal. That is the curse. And Valentine knows it better than anybody. That is what makes him so compelling and so frustrating. He is always one step away from being the smartest person in the room or the one who blows everything up by trusting the wrong heartbeat. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with Valentine at a crossroads, Brennan still out cold, Nina looking guilty as hell, Cullum hiding behind a mask, Peter maybe alive, Maxie possibly trapped, Cassius trying to keep a fake identity from collapsing, and everybody in this storyline standing on a floor that is about to crack. That is not a storyline. That is a pressure chamber. And I am telling you right now, if Valentine really does rip off that mask and expose Peter, I am going to lose my mind. I mean, fully lose it. Because that would mean the lies have finally become too heavy to carry. That would mean Valentine stopped protecting the wrong people. That would mean the secret he kept out of love is now becoming the weapon he uses out of survival. And that is dark. That is messy. That is exactly the kind of soap chaos I live for. But let me ask you this. Does anybody else feel like Nina has gone too far this time? Like, really too far? Because blaming Valentine while the real mess is sitting right there, hidden under layers of deception, feels desperate. It feels exposed. It feels like someone who knows the walls are closing in and is trying to shove the blame onto the nearest target before the whole house burns down. And if Valentine is done playing the protector, then Nina better watch her back. Because once a man like Valentine stops shielding you, he does not just step aside. He steps in. And Peter? Oh, Peter better be ready too. Because if Valentine is the one holding the truth, then this is no longer about keeping secrets. This is about who gets crushed when the secrets finally hit the floor. And trust me, the floor is coming.